Welcome to this guide to set up your own VR Club website. I am Diego. In this video, you will learn how to fork a project and put it on your own GitHub pages to make it more accessible on the web. Then learn a high-level understanding of HTML and CSS, and finally see how to customize the VR Clubs of America website for your own use. First, you must either have a GitHub account, or if not, sign up for one at github.com/signup. Once you have a GitHub account, you are ready to fork. Forking is the concept of making a copy of a GitHub repository to be able to make modifications. Using the link on the screen, go to the VR Clubs of America GitHub page. As you can see here, this is the VR Clubs of America GitHub page, and you must find the fork button and click it. Now you can enter in a name for the fork, and I'm just going to enter VR Clubs of America. Now, click the Create Fork. And this will take a little bit. Now that you have created a copy of the GitHub repository, we will put it on GitHub Pages, so it's accessible on the web. To do that, you go to Settings over here, scroll down and look for Pages, and then select Main in this drop down and click Save. Then you have to wait a little bit and open a new tab and go to your GitHub username, which in my case is diegomardian.github.io/what you named the fork, which was VR Clubs of America. And we have to wait a little bit before it registers. And now you can see we refresh the page and it's here. Now let's look at HTML and CSS. HTML and CSS are the two core components of a website. First, HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, can be thought of as the skeleton of a web page. It gives the page its structure. HTML uses tags like h1, p, and image to organize text, images, and other content. For example, if we want to display a big header saying VR Clubs of America, you would use the highlighted tag on the screen. HTML on its own would make pretty boring pages. That's where CSS comes in. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it's what makes a website look nice. Under the CSS section, the example code tells the HTML H1 heading to be blue and use the Arial font, as you can see. And there are multiple different things you can do with CSS, like change the color, font family, the font weight, which is boldness, add margin and padding, which is just fancy for spacing, add border, background color, and many more. Now that you know a little bit about HTML and CSS, I will show you how to customize the VR Clubs of America website you just forked on GitHub. Say you want to change the Our Team section names on the homepage. Then you will go back to the repository, as you can see here, and scroll down until you can click the index.html. Click on it and find the pencil icon. Click that, and then scroll down in the code until you see a h3 tags, which are just smaller versions of the h1 tags we talked about earlier with the names, and here they are. So now for this example, I'm just going to change all the names to Joe, but you can really change them to anything you want. And then say, for example, in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different members, but say your club only has 4. Then you can easily just take one out or even add an extra one by starting with the div section. You just highlight that and then highlighting down to the closing div section. and just delete that section. And now we should only have 4. So once you're done making all your changes, you can scroll up and click the Commit Changes button and keep the commit misses the same. Commit the changes. And now go back to your GitHub Pages site. Right now we can see it's still showing the old stuff. And even if we refresh, that's because it takes a couple of minutes to update, so we will get back in a bit. Now you can see when we refresh, all the names are changed to Joe, and there's only 4 instead of 5. So now that you've done that, now that you've seen how to update the website yourself, here are some other suggestions of what else to change. You can add your own projects on Our Projects page. You could even try to create your own logo and then upload it. Or you could add your school to the Our Impact section on the home page. These are just some examples, but you can really change it any way you like. I hope this website works for your VR club. Thank you for watching.